was wondering if you could tell me a bit about Crowdflower.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Crowdflower is a crowdsourcing company.
Okay.
And what crowdsourcing means to us is fairly specific. Crowdsourcing is kind of this term that gets used for a lot of different things. You think of Wikipedia as being crowdsourced, or Kickstarter is crowdsourced funding to help get funding for people who have ideas. What Crowdflower does specifically is we work around microtasks. So what a microtask is something that takes usually around a few minutes to complete, and can be done by just about anybody who can, has an understanding of the language that the task is created in, and can follow instructions. So some examples of this would be places where computers really can't do as good of a job as human beings can when it comes to the needs of various business requirements. So one example would be image moderation. So if you accept images from people on the open web, sometimes people will put things up that are inappropriate in some way, whether it's sexual or violent, or whatever criteria it is that a site must adhere to. Computers just can't do a good job at grasping what the context of that image is, whereas human beings can do a really good job. The same applies for language. So now, especially in this era of big data and all of this stuff kind of coming from the web, such as social media, Twitter, etc., there's a lot of companies that care about what the web is saying about their product, their brand, or their company. And computers can do about a 70% accurate job at detecting whether or not someone is saying something nice about a product or a company, or saying something inappropriate or bad. Or it's very difficult for a computer to grasp something like sarcasm, whereas human beings are really good at being able to read just a short snippet of text and say, is this good about the following topic, or potentially what other topics are mentioned in this content. So there's just a couple examples, but we do many more.
Right. And what moved you to start a business like this? What's
Great
the
question.
story behind it?
So it was about 5 years ago that myself and co-founder Lucas Bewald, who's our CEO, we were working at a company called PowerSet, which was a natural language search engine company, which tried to extract meaning from content for the purposes of search. So generally search is something where you put in a keyword and it will pull back results that have that word in it, but understanding the meaning behind those words is what PowerSet was trying to solve. And a part of that was figuring out, okay, now if we get all these documents that have this meaning that someone's searching for, someone could ask a question to the search engine and these documents would supposedly have an answer. How do we rank the results to get the best answers on top? And the big search engine companies to date, many of them, they basically have an internal team of labelers, raters, that go and say, for a given query, this result was a great match, this result was a good match, this result was a bad match, or this result was spam. And through that process, the output of those judges can then be put back into the learning algorithm, or whatever people are using to rank the results and create a better search engine. So at PowerSet, we were kind of a scrappy startup. We couldn't afford an internal team of labelers, so we looked towards crowdsourcing these types of micro tasks to say, can we send this out to the anonymous web and have them give quality labels to improve the search engine? So it was then out of that we kind of saw a lot of the challenges that come along with sending this out to an anonymous crowd, and decided we could build a company that tried to solve a lot of those problems and challenges.
Right. And have you had to raise funding for the company?
We have.
And how did that go?
It's been good. It's generally, it's kind of, I'm the CTO, so I'm the nerd, and I get to like sit behind the computer and talk to Lucas and see how things are going. But no, we are very happy with our investors, and they're extremely supportive.
And you've had a couple of rounds already? Or?
Yes.
So obviously the investment market has a great belief in where you're going.
Yes.
And what's your revenue model?
So we basically go to a client that needs some type of crowdsourcing completed. And then we will say, okay, this is either something we already have in our catalog, and we know how much it costs us to get the crowd to perform the task, or we'll run a pilot for the company and kind of design the task, and then basically it's a cost plus model. So we figure out how much it is that the crowd is costing, and then our markup is taken from the difference between what the client is paying and what we pay to the crowd.
I immediately see a huge opportunity here because obviously I deal with video and also obviously audio, and that is something that, as you say, machines or computers don't seem to have got yet about how to actually scroll through that data, and people can put tags on it, and of course the tag can be totally inaccurate. You only have to go onto YouTube to see.
Absolutely.
I'm Black Hat's SEO and all of that. So I would imagine, even Google's voice interpretation of Google Voice. There's voice messages. It's total bullshit. Excuse me, but so there must be a huge opening there. I would imagine for human crowdsourcing to actually monitor or check out data as regards video and audio. Would I be correct?
Absolutely. So we've done a fair amount of transcription tasks where people will take audio and transcribe it.
Okay.
And some of the things we've done with video in the past were to take maybe just stills from a given video and have the crowd decide what is the best still to represent this video.
Okay.
Or have the crowd tag certain portions of the video for content that an advertiser might be interested in knowing is in the video, right?
Yeah.
There could be a good point to show an ad that the crowd could then expose.
Yeah, fabulous. Well, it looks like you've got a good stretch ahead of you with the company, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't seem like you're going to fix this anytime soon. So.
Well, yeah, and we seem to be creating more and more data, which is, we like that. Yeah.
Well, I wish you all the best, and I hope, the company does really well, and probably see you here again next year.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.